Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I want to talk about AI again, and with something that I've been noticing about technology in general. And maybe this is me just getting older, but the question that keeps coming up in my mind is, can I keep up with every new tool that comes out? And every day there is a brand new tool that comes out, and it's hard to keep up. But I think the better question might be, is this tool worth keeping up with? Because there's a difference. There's a difference in being unwilling to learn a new tool and being unwilling to let every shiny new thing rent space in your head for free. So let's get into it. So I saw a couple of things this week that got me thinking about this. There was this one title of a video that said it was about a Gen X senior who was worried about being too senior to quit, but too young to retire, which is a pretty cheerful little phrase to start your morning with. And then I saw a news headline about a 55-year-old developer who was wondering how AI is changing this industry and whether he can afford to retire early. That one stopped me for a minute because it's not some abstract technical debate. This is like real life. This is a guy who is looking at his age, his savings, his future prospects at work, and the wave of new tools coming in. And he's trying to figure out what it all means. And I think a lot of us are in that same spot in one version or another. But maybe you're not a software developer. I'm not a software developer. Maybe you're in management or sales or in operations or healthcare or education, or you run a household, or you're taking care of your parents, or you're helping your kids launch into adulthood by sending them to college. But the feeling is familiar. The world keeps throwing new tools at us, new apps, new logins, new dashboards, new AI assistants, new features that promise to change everything in your life. And part of you thinks, I should probably learn this. And then the other part of you thinks, I'm already tired. Because I think when you're younger, a new tool is annoying, but it's kind of like an adventure. You have the energy and you have the time to click through every menu. Like you have the ability to maintain focus and look through every menu to find out where every single feature is. For me at this age, I just want to know if the thing works. I don't need to know every feature. I just need to know if the 2 or 3 features that I really, really need every single day are easy to find and easy to use and work all the time. Like, I want to know if this thing is going to solve real problems. I don't want to know if it can dub my video into like 15 different languages without me doing anything, which 11 Labs can, and it's super interesting, but it doesn't help my life in any way. Like at this age, I just want to know if the thing works. I want to know if it solves real problems. I want to know if the 3 features that I'm going to use every single day are easy to find and they reliably work and they produce outputs that can be depended on every single day. By the time you get into your 50s, you've lived through enough revolutionary technology to know that some of it really does matter and some of it is just a new wrapper around the same old friction. We went from typewriters to word processors, landlines to cell phones, paper calendars to shared calendars, from maps to in the glove box to GPS telling us to make a U-turn in somebody else's driveway. We've adapted plenty. So when somebody acts like we can't learn new technology, I don't really buy that. Because for us, Gen X, we've been learning technology, new technology, for decades. We just don't confuse learning it with worshiping it. And that may be one of the hidden advantages of age. You start to develop a filter. And it's not a perfect filter. I still download apps today, and then 3 days later, ask myself, why did I download this app? But you do start to ask yourself better questions, like, what problem is this app solving? Who benefits if I use it? Will this make the work clearer or just make the screen busier? Like, does this app help me keep a promise? Does it help me make a decision? Does it teach somebody, protect my attention, or simplify a responsibility? Or is it just another slot machine for my attention? And that's where AI gets really interesting for me, because AI can be either one. AI can be a serious tool that helps you, or it can be a very impressive distraction that you pay a monthly subscription for. I think people our age may be in a good position to tell the difference if we don't panic and if we don't get lazy about it. Because both of those are temptations. Because panic says everything is changing, everyone else understands this, I'm behind, this is for the young. people understand it and I don't. Laziness says, I don't need to learn any of this. I've made it this far. I'm good. I don't think either one of those is right. The better path is slower and more practical. Learn enough to know it's useful. Ignore enough to keep your sanity. That's a different skill than being first. And honestly, Gen X should understand this because we grew up with things breaking. We grew up having to figure stuff out without a tutorial video to watch when things went sideways. If something didn't work, you push buttons, you hit it on the side, you guessed wrong a few times, and then eventually you either fixed it, or if you couldn't fix it, you just were resigned to the fact that maybe the thing was possessed. That kind of childhood trains you for trial and error. It also trains you not to believe every single instruction manual and every single video you see on the internet. So now when I use AI, I don't treat it like it's magic. I come at it more like it's a capable assistant that needs my supervision still. I ask it to help sort something out for me. I ask it to draft something. I ask it to look through information and pull out what the next step is. I ask it to help build a small tool so now when I use AI, I don't come at it like it's magic. I come at it more like it's a capable assistant that still needs some supervision. I'll ask it to help me sort something. I'll ask it to draft something. I'll ask it to look through some information, pull out what the next step is supposed to be. I'll ask it to help build a small tool where before I would have needed a whole team to build, but I still have to bring the judgment. That's the part I don't want people of our age to miss. The value of AI isn't that it removes the need for experience. It actually makes experience more valuable because the tool can move fast, but it doesn't always know what matters. And it can produce an answer, but it doesn't know if that answer actually fits the real world situation. And we know it's awesome. It can write code, summarize emails, suggest plans, make checklists. It can even redo your resume, generate ideas, but somebody has to know when the output is nonsense. Somebody has to know by looking at the output what got left out, what was important, what was critical that got missed. Somebody, human, has to be able to do all that stuff. And that's where age helps. It's not because older automatically makes you wiser. We all know that's not true. I've made enough questionable home repair decisions and mistakes to humble me in that area. But years do give you patterns to reference. You've seen projects fail because the tool was too complicated for just regular people. You've seen expensive systems get ignored because nobody asked the person who actually uses them. You've seen a process that looks great on a PowerPoint slide, but falls apart when the person is sick and is the only person with the password. That stuff counts. You can use it to create a checklist, a reminder system, a search agent, a little dashboard or a guide for someone else, or just a better first draft of the thing that you're trying to avoid. But the key is not chasing all of it. The key is choosing. And that's what I keep coming back to. At this stage in life, at 57, attention is not free. Energy is not free. And time is definitely not free. So when I see a new tool or a new feature show up on an existing tool, I don't ask myself, is this impressive? I ask myself, does this actually help me? Does it help me serve my family? Does it help me do my work with more clarity? Does it help me pass along what I know? And does it give me a little more room to be present with the people that I care about? If the answer is yes, then maybe it's worth learning. And that is freeing to me because that means every morning I don't need to swallow the entire internet by 6 o'clock. But it does mean staying awake to what matters. And I think for those of us that are in our 50s and older, I think that might be the healthier way to approach this AI moment. Don't be afraid of it. Don't bow down to it. But don't let it make you feel obsolete just because you don't know every single acronym. And don't dismiss it just because some of the demos are silly. Take your time. Test it against real problems. Bring your experience to it and ask better questions than the tool could ask by itself. And maybe now the advantage is not being the fastest person in the room, but knowing if the room is worth actually being in. Anyway, that's what I've been thinking about lately. I'd be curious if this resonated with you, and if it did, I'd like to know what AI tools have you found lately that have actually been useful to you? Leave a note in the comments below, subscribe, like, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for listening.